First in the offing is mistake of fact. What is mistake of fact? In mistake of fact, the supposed offender believes as true the facts perceived by him that impelled him to do a particular act. Otherwise stated, had the facts been true to the belief of the offender, his act would have been justified because of the absence of intent or dolo. And since there is no intent, then there is no criminal liability. For example, in the famous case of US versus Chong, Chong, who works as a cook, was suddenly awakened by someone trying to force open the door of the room. He sat up in bed and called out twice, "Who is there?" He heard no answer and was convinced by the noise at the door that it was being pushed open by someone bent upon forcing his way into the room. Chong, fearing that the intruder was a robber, leaped to his feet and called out, "If you enter the room, I will kill you." At that moment, he was struck just above the knee by the edge of the chair which had been placed against the door. Seizing a kitchen knife which he kept under his pillow, Chong struck at the intruder, who, it turned out, was his roommate Pascual, a houseboy who, in the spirit of mischief, was just playing a trick on him. Now, there had been several robberies not long prior to the date of the incident, one of which took place in a house where Chong was also previously employed as a cook. That's why he kept a knife under his pillow for his personal protection. It will be observed in the said example that Chong was of the firm belief that the intruder who forced open the door of his room was a thief in view of the circumstances obtaining at that time, such as the victim was trying to force open the door of the room. Chong asked the victim who he was, but the victim gave no answer. Chong, fearing that the victim was a thief or a robber, even warned the victim that if he entered the room, he would get killed. Still, the victim gave no answer. Instead of responding to Chong's questions, the victim pushed open the door, and Chong was struck just above the knee by the edge of the chair which had been placed against the door. Chong therefore acted in good faith, without malice or criminal intent, in the belief that he was merely exercising his right of self-defense. Take note, however, that mistake of fact is relevant only when the felony would have been intentional or through dolo, but not when the felony is a result of culpa. It is only a defense in intentional but not in culpable felonies. Let's take a look at this example. X was driving his car along a public highway. Thinking that the object that was crossing the highway at that time was just a cat, X did not slow down. As a result, he hit and bumped an old lady instead. Here, X cannot invoke the defense of mistake of fact, as this absolutory cause is applicable only in felonies committed by means of dolo and not by culpa, such that X here will be liable for the crime of reckless imprudence resulting in physical injuries or reckless imprudence resulting in homicide, as the case may be. For the law provides that no person shall drive any motor vehicle upon a highway at such a speed as to endanger the life, limb, and property of any person, nor at a speed greater than will permit him to bring the vehicle to a stop within the assured clear distance ahead. Also take note that the person invoking mistake of fact must not be negligent in ascertaining the true state of facts. Otherwise, he will still be held liable for the felony that is produced. For example, X, a security guard manning the premises of a convenience store, saw the cashier and a customer in a heated argument. X did nothing to check what was the argument about, nor did he get near the protagonists to prevent any untoward incident from happening. X, who was positioned behind the customer, saw the customer raise his hand, thinking that the customer was already aiming a gun as if to shoot the cashier. X shot and killed the customer, who it turned out was merely pointing his finger at the cashier. Here, X will be liable for homicide because he was clearly negligent in ascertaining the true state of facts. So here, X cannot invoke the defense of mistake of fact because he was negligent in ascertaining the true state of facts.